Hello, everyone. My name is Anna, and welcome to our second virtual community kitchen. So today we are making black bean burritos, and what you should have received in your package is these ingredients. Let me put the camera down so you're able to see. So we have our spices here, which is Montreal steak spice and all-purpose seasoning. We have the garlic powder. We have our onion, our garlic, and our bouillon, and our drained black beans. So I just took those out of the can. Over here, which I'm going to point to this part over here, are fresh toppings. So we have our lettuce, our peppers, our tomato, our red onion to add beautiful color to this dish. We also have our tortillas, bread, and which are whole wheat, by the way. We also have our sour cream, our cheese, and our salsa. So let's get started. So number one thing that I usually like to do is always cut my onions first. So let's get that started. And I'll point the camera down a little bit so you can see how I like to have them. And then you can decide how you like to cut your own onions. But I usually like to cut these pretty fine because the trick to this dish is having them cook until they are very, very caramelized. So we want to cut them quite finely, because the reason why I like these onions to cook for a while is because this brings a lot of flavor to the dish. At times I have been in a rush and wanted this dish quickly, and I didn't really give it the time it needed. And honestly, it did not provide the best flavor that I was hoping to achieve. So let's get these onions all really nice and cut nicely and fine. Okay, just about there. And I like a lot of onion, so whenever I cook, I usually use, if it calls for one onion, usually I always add two. It's just my preference. And I'm gonna put some oil in a pan. I already have my stove on. And I'm gonna put this video a little bit higher here, so yes, you can see that path. That's wonderful. So starting with that process. Wonderful. And I'm gonna cut the other onion just really quickly once again. I hope that last week, 2 weeks ago, that you enjoyed your, if you participated and signed up for that, was the red lentil corn soup. I hope you enjoyed that recipe. And if you didn't fancy the final result, I would love to hear what you did in order to make it better and suit you and suit your palate. Yes. So here I am, almost finished cutting up the rest of the onions. Now with this recipe here, this is using 1 can of black beans. But in the past, I have a large family, and we like this dish quite a bit. So I like to do 3 cans at a time. Like that, I don't have to continuously cook, and I can have it in the fridge for the next few days. So because also when because sometimes when I'm hungry, I just don't want to cook. I just want to heat up and go right to it. So here are my other chopped onions. I'm putting it in. Now these onions, we do not want them burnt. We want them really nicely dark brown. Some would say, Anna, they're burnt. But I choose to say, no, they're not, just very caramelized. Okay. So, while that is cooking down, I am going to be chopping up the garlic. And me personally, I like a lot of garlic. I like to have the flavor come through. So I'll be adding about 3 cloves of garlic for my recipe, for the one at home. But it's up to you how many you like to put into your dish. And very often I will make suggestions on the amount of ingredients because you know best what you like, and this doesn't either destroy or make the dish like it's not a crucial ingredient or factor in making it amazing. The most important thing is that you will constantly hear from me, make it your own. Okay, so now the idea is to cut these up quite fine. If you have a garlic press, feel free to use that. I do have a garlic press, but sometimes I just want to be able to give it a cut. And let me point the camera down so you can see what I am doing here. I'm going to give it one more over here. So as you can see here, my onions are still very, very white. This has a while to go. It probably has about maybe at a medium heat. The onions, in order to get to where we want to take them, is maybe about 15-minute cooking time. So I'll see you soon. Okay, so we're back. So our onions are just the way I like them to be. So let me point the camera down to show. So do you see how they're very dark in color? That is perfect for me. So let's see what we can. Right now we are going to add the garlic. If you didn't want to burn the garlic, we're going to stir that around for a moment. So it just heats up for a little bit. And now we're going to add the beans. Also, I don't like to cook every day. I love cooking, but I also like convenience, and life takes over with everything that you have to do. So I like to always have food in the fridge like that. If I'm hungry, I could just go heat it up, and then I have a meal that is prepared for me. And like that also too, I don't make bad choices for myself. Because when I'm hungry and if I don't have food ready, I start pulling towards things that maybe I should abstain from. But there we go. Everything is incorporated quite nicely. We're going to add a little bit of water, cold water. There we go. A nice amount of water. I would say about a whole cup and a half of water. And now I'm going to be adding the bouillon, the garlic powder, and the Montreal steak spice and the all-purpose seasoning season into it. And once that's been cooking for a little bit, I'm going to taste the flavor of the broth, and I'm going to see if I like where it's going. Do I need a little bit more bouillon or not? And in my opinion, I like to have the beans be a little bit salty. So when you taste it, and if it's salty, it may just be perfect. The reason why is once you add your tomato, your peppers, your sliced red onion and lettuce, it waters everything down and you may not really have the flavor that you're looking for. So that is why I like to have it a little bit salty. But you may be watching your salt intake. So of course, please, that is totally up to you, and this is just my preference. Okay, so I'm going to stir that up for a little bit. That's going to heat up right away. And basically now, once the water evaporates, this is now cooked through, because remember, the beans are already cooked. We're now just seasoning them because they came cooked in the can. So now this is a good time to prepare our other ingredients while this is cooking. I'm going to boil down. Okay, so I'm going to get a plate. And what I like about this dish as well is that, excuse me, once that all of these ingredients are made and cut up, so once they are cut and everything is prepared, your child can actually put on their toppings themselves, and they could have a lot of fun doing that because they may not like tomatoes or they may not want the onions. Like I personally love onions, but children's little taste buds may not be ready for that. But let's get that started. Let's cut that up while our beans are cooking down. So what I like to do is cut it very, like shred the lettuce almost, so it's very fine. Here. And these have all been washed prior to me cutting them. So, and I put it to the side on a plate like this. So like that, it is ready for on top of your burrito. And I grab the onion and I slice that very finely. Now the peppers. Now whatever peppers you have at hand, that is wonderful. Like today, I have the orange and red. but the green is wonderful as well. So whatever you have at hand. And what I like to do is I like to just cut them into little cubes. Excellent. So this is going to look really pretty once it's all on the plate. And that's one thing that I like about this dish, that it's very, very pretty. Almost finished with the green. But I gotta warn you, this dish is very messy. Make sure that you have napkins right beside you, because it gets all over your face and your hands. So it's a fun dish. And the tomato, I like to actually cube it so nice and small. Nothing too big on top. Sun here. Right. So I'm going to show you what this looks like. So these are going to be the toppings. And usually chopping takes a little while, but as you can see, this took no time whatsoever. So we're going to put that aside. Just going to rinse my hands. My hands are nice and clean. So along with your package, you should have received one of these booklets. So we got these from the fire station, and it talks about different aspects of safety and prevention of preventing and having a plan or a safety plan in place, and having this discussion with your children just in case an emergency were to happen. So there's different little activities for your children to do. Also possibly discussing with your children, this is what a firefighter looks like when they're all geared up. Some children may think, oh wow, this is super cool. And other children may feel very scared and intimidated by that look. So talking to them prior to like, this is what potentially we could see if in a situation were to arise where we need a firefighter. Also, there is a word search here, which is nice. And there is a high-rise apartment, condominium, and fire safety. So if you choose to either stay in the apartment, or if you choose to stay inside. And things like, do I take the elevator or do I take the stairs? And as it goes through, it's very, very informative. No matter what, I learned a few things from this, just looking at it. And it also instigated me having conversations with my son. And what I really like here about this booklet is the fire triangle that they have here. So by having all three, like the heat, the fuel, and the oxygen, but if you take one out of the equation here, then you're able to stop a fire. So this is always very, very important information, in my opinion. And so my whole thing is take an opportunity to take a look at this this little booklet here that is very informative. And it's really for school age, or not really the younger ones, but you could talk about it and show them the pictures. Also, what you should have is The children could color this in community helper vehicles. So if there's a fire truck, the police car, and the ambulance, and they could also color in the firefighter. You will get a sticker and also a little tattoo. So that is fun for the kids. Okay, so moving on now, I'm going to check on the beans, see how they're doing. And I am going to try the broth and see if it's going where I want it. Is it too salty? Is it not salty enough? What is it saying? So I'm trying the broth. It's perfect. A little on the salty side, but that's exactly what I want. So this is now. Show it to you. Okay, camera down so you can see. It's still very watery. We want to get it down to the water to evaporate some more. Okay, excellent. Okay. So I will see you once it is evaporated. Okay, so we are almost there. The beans are almost, we got them just right about where we want them. There is still some liquid that we have here, but that is great. We're about to just stop it any moment now. But I just wanted to let you know of a little step that I do, a little extra step. So I get a tortilla that we want. I put it into a non-stick frying pan, no oil whatsoever. Let me just change my video. Yeah, a little bit. Excellent. And so I just heat it up just a little bit, and this makes the tortilla just taste a little bit. So I have it on high. We're just going to just do one. Yes. And this is, let me give this a stir. You don't want it to burn at the bottom. And one of the things that I like about this specific like big frying pan is that it's tall, like the sides are high. And so if there's, because it bubbles, it creates less mess on the stove top, which I really appreciate that. So that's nice, that's almost done. So I heat this up. So as you can see here, I heat this up and I just give it a little turn. It's not even really toasty, it's just heated through. That's what I'm looking for. One more minute. And this is going to be lovely. Okay, so we have our warmed up tortilla, and now it's time to build our burrito. But I just want to show you the consistency. So I want to be able to show you that it is saucy, and not dry, but it's not extremely runny. Okay, so what we're going to do is just a little higher. So let's add the beans right on top, just like so. And what I like to do is I like to put the cheese in a little cup. And what I do is I put it in the microwave for just a few seconds. And that will melt it. And then I pour it right on top, and I'll show you. It actually, instead of grating it, because sometimes when you grate it, it doesn't really fully melt. This gets it to a really nice melt with heated cheese. As you can see here, it is very, very nice and heated and melted. So I would put it right on top here. Show you that right now. There we go. It's all nice and gooey. And so now it's time to build the burrito. So this is where it's really good to have your little one come in and they start adding the things that they're interested in. So here we have a little bit of peppers. Nice peppers. Onion. Tomato. And let's not forget the red peppers. Lettuce. So this is looking great already. Excellent. Now we're going to add the salsa sauce. So put this on the side nicely. And as well as the sour cream. Now, some people like to put a lot. I like just a layer. Who does not like a little messy do? Also, some people like to put a little bit of hot oil on the top or a little hot sauce. But here we have our finished burrito. We hope that you enjoy, and remember to have close by your napkins because this is a messy one, but a fun one. Anyways, guys, take care and hope to see you in the next 2 weeks with our next recipe being the creating your own mini pizzas. Take care. Bye-bye.